Hi, fellow traders. What's happening? I want to apologize for getting this video out too late. Hopefully, you guys can catch it tomorrow morning before we get started. I'll give you an idea of what I'm looking for tomorrow. But just a lot going on right now. I just realized it's less than a month before we move our son into college, into the dorm, and we had one doctor's appointment today, got another one Thursday, and everything is coming up pretty quick. So we're all excited about that and making sure everything is in. Um, so that kind of took a lot of attention I had away from today, but it didn't start out really good because I didn't have internet until about 8:25, and I try to come on around 8:30. Really, I try to have the scanners up around 7:30 at least. Now it's going to be earlier because we're getting into earnings and we're going to start doing some pre-market trading. So it'll be earlier, maybe as early as 6 o'clock when I get started. But that's coming. But this, when you don't get a chance to prepare like you want to, that kind of limits what I could do. That's why I didn't even have a watch list today, because there was so much going on. I really didn't have enough time to go through everything, and it turned out the way it turned out. All right, but before we get going here, I want to share this with you real quick. In every losing trade we have, there is something to be gained, even if it's only practice for the next trade that you take. Screen time. There is no substitute. All right, so over a period of time, the challenges that we go through, everything that we deal with, we're gonna build up a tolerance for that so-called mental suffering that we have, so that we know that we could continue to get hit and knocked down by the market, and that we could get back up. That no matter what the market throws at us, we'll be able to get back up. And if we don't if we have a process to dealing with this stuff and understanding that, hey, we have a losing day, even if you can't find something that if it's teaching you a lesson that you've learned over and over and over again, it's screen time. And it's just adding to that point where eventually you're going to get to a point where you're just like, okay, enough is enough. I'm done with this. I'm not going to do this anymore. But if you read David Goggins' book, I shared that with you maybe a year ago, maybe more than that. It talks about how you have to callous your mind. The same way, somebody that works with their hands doing heavy work, over a period of time, they develop calluses, and that's what protects their hands. Our mind, we can callous our mind so that it will protect, our minds will be protected, so that we don't, break down after every little hit that we take. But, I just wanted to share that with you because of what I dealt with Friday. We'll talk about that here at the end. But looking at today, you remember we talked about this yesterday. If you were in the session yesterday or you watched the video, we talked about where the market's gonna go. Where is it likely to go today? What were we looking at? We were looking at the 20-day moving average here. We're looking at, is it going to confirm a loss of the 5-day? And is it going to hold? We're going to test the bottom of this channel, this ascending support, or we're going to test the 50. We actually tested both of them, and we are and we closed below this ascending support. Now, this isn't the first time. You can see, what happened here. But if we lose the 50, this is the level that we need to keep our eye on, because if we lose this, we're making a lower low on this dip after we took out all of this support. And, the next line of defense will be the 100-day. And it hasn't been back here since November of last year. So it's been a while since it's tested the 100-day. The bulls, I thought the bears had this market, but the bulls came fighting back at the close. So we'll see what happens in the morning. The morning is going to tell. Are we going to open with another gap down below the 50-day? If that happens, the market's going to get wrecked. Okay, there's no ifs and buts about it. The market's going to get wrecked. But what was interesting today was a lot of these stay-at-home names, Peloton, Chewy, were just taking off. I mean, they showed incredible strength with the market, washing out. So I didn't know how to take that. Like I said, I started late. I didn't get to do. Usually I have at least an hour of looking through stuff, reading, doing some research on what's going on in the market. I didn't get to do any of that this morning. So it really caught me by surprise. But tomorrow, we're looking at this 50-day. If we confirm below the 50-day, this market can easily get wrecked. So keep an eye on that. And that's going to determine, are we going to look at any swings coming off the bottom? And it's really going to be based on what I see in the morning. And we'll talk about that in our session in the morning. So today, okay, like I said, I wasn't prepared. I just flat wasn't prepared. And I said, let's just pick one stock that I see tremendous potential in that could sell off. A lot of stocks, when we have a big gap down, the initial value is going to be to the long side. Everything I was looking at was trapped to the long side. So I was looking for something that had bad news that could get wrecked. And that's what I was looking at. And AMC, just kept popping up. And I'm like, man, this looks good. We got room all the way down to like 30 from here. I was like, this is a pretty good move. So I wait for it to open. We break the pre-market low. I get in. It dips. And then it gets, bought right back up. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? It goes up and stops me out. And then it comes back down. And I'm like, okay. So, waited for this candle. All right, this candle opened, pushed up a little bit, started to sell. Once we took out the opening range low, I got in it. It dipped down a little bit and ripped right back up and stopped me out. So I knew at that point, I was like, now I'm done. All right, so I was only down, I only gave it money-wise about 150 bucks. This stock, I should have only been in 200 shares, and I might have been able to take some profit down here, but I accidentally clicked the 300 short button, and it put me in 300 shares short, so I couldn't give it the room I gave this one. This trade, I was in 200 shares. I know how AMC trades, so I needed to give it that extra room with 200 shares. This I had no idea we were going to do this. None whatsoever. But it is what it is. Like I said, I gave it a shot. I honestly thought this was going to be the best opportunity I had. But like I said, Peloton took off. Chewy, took off. BA sold off. I mean, big sell off. Nice move, opening range breakdown. So there were a lot of good moves. I just didn't have the time to study them in time to get ready for the open. So that was that on this. Now I did take another trade on Peloton. I shorted here once we started breaking down. Here we went up, we pulled back, we bounced, put in a lower high. Once we made a lower low, that was my trigger to get in. I was looking for the move back to VWAP. It didn't even get close. 116 pretty much stopped it. And we bounced back and we pulled back. And this is the candle that I got out on. Now, one thing I realized, and now I understand the frustration when I have to leave. Like I had to take my son to the doctor, and so if his doctor's office didn't have free Wi-Fi, so I had to log in on my phone, and on my phone I use in this case Thinkorswim. I'm using the Thinkorswim or the IB app. On my phone, those are the ones I log into. I don't log into DOS. That I don't know why I always have an issue with that. But when I log in on the broker app, whatever I do will not show up on here. And that explains why I wake up sometimes and DOS is still showing a position that I was out of. It's because if I closed it, late using the broker app, DOS doesn't register it. And sometimes when I log in before DOS has downloaded the information. And so that trade is still active, even though it's not actually active on my platform. In my broker. So that can create a lot of confusion. And I try not to take these trades. And really, I thought I was going to be out of this before I had to leave. And of course, it didn't. But this was just kind of a smaller loss. Pretty much a break-even trade here. Once we started to bounce, and you could see it building. You could feel it building. And, I just killed it. But that's kind of what happened here. So what that does is it kind of messes up the way I like to track my trades. When I pull up how much I made, and it has the fees and everything there, it messes it up because DOS doesn't capture it, and I don't have what I normally have, and that can get frustrating. But I only lost a little bit over $300, or right at $300 today, which is not bad. I'll take that. I'll make $600 on a good day. I don't mind losing $300 on a bad day. I know when the market starts kicking, we're going to have some pretty big days. When earnings kicks in good, we're going to have some pretty solid days. So that's kind of what I'm going to be looking forward to. So last week, Friday, I didn't get to do a recap this Friday or this weekend, but if you were with me on Thursday, you saw I got in this. If you were still in chat Thursday afternoon, you saw I got in AA looking for my earnings trade. And when it reported, this is what happened. Like I got in, I can't remember when I got in. But I got in right before, must have been on this when it was bouncing here. And this is the candle that came out when it reported. And it had this crazy wicked candle. Now, they had an above average, they exceeded the earnings per share. They exceeded revenue. They had a solid guidance. Guidance is what really gives me the go ahead. Everything was great. All the research I did looking at earning whispers, it had a high grade, it had a high score. Everything was pointing toward AA going up after earnings announcement. Okay, I didn't get the gap up. That's fine. I'm like, well, I'll hold it overnight, and we should get the move in the morning. Sometimes these things are delayed. Great. So you guys saw when I got in Friday, those of you that weren't there, I explained what I was looking at. The stock was moving pretty good. It was doing kind of what I was looking forward to. We were moving up, going into the open. All right. I completely missed putting my order out at the 20-day. Okay, we didn't gap over the 20-day, so this has to be a profit target. I didn't put the order out there. The market opens, it runs up, and then it slams back down. All right, so then I put the order back out there, thinking, okay, maybe we'll bounce back off to 200 and, come on back up. No, this candle opened, it pushed, and it just what? I can't even explain what I felt when this happened. And instead of me taking it off, I sat there like a dumbass and let it take me negative. I went from being up almost looks like over a point or just over a point to losing a point. And that had me hot. And I realized at the time, again, I learned from this loss, this bad trade, that I still have a problem with this expectation thing. Just because something is perfect doesn't mean it has to work. And this was so perfect, it didn't work. It made me so mad. It just ruined my day. It just flat ruined my day. I broke even on everything else. I think I made a couple of bucks on something. I only lost maybe $100 and some. But we'll look at that in a minute. But the thing is, these are the trades that when they happen, you can't let it break you. I didn't really let it break me. I realized it. I knew what I had to do in order to survive the day. And that's what I did. And that's what I'm talking about. But because I got knocked down and got back up and worked it out before, now when these things happen, I can deal with it. And I won't take the hits like I used to take. So that's why it's really, really important that you have some type of process that allows you to deal with this and that you're able to callous your mind. All right, so looking at last week, okay, obviously vacation days, nothing, solid start to the week. Even with the Thursday, this was just a bad day, and like price action wise, the one trade that I could have really nailed at the open, I missed. I was looking at another stock, and Friday, I didn't even have to take this loss on Friday. I didn't have to. I could have easily been green. I really felt I should have had a $2,000 week, even with Thursday. And let's say I did good and I hit the Thursday trade. Even with this, I still should have had a $2,000 week, but did not start the week out. End the week strong, but still 1550. That's not bad. Not for summer, and not for the week coming into earnings. So not bad at all. Today, we managed our loss, so we've got the rest of the week to bring this up. If I have another week like I had the week before, I'll take it. Because this week could be really strong. We're kicking out some. We're kicking in the high gear on earnings. These are gonna be some really good weeks. So, we'll see depending on what the market does. And here's the equity curve here. You can see this is where we flattened out the weeks we didn't trade, and back to heading in the right direction here. So let's keep the focus. And I got a lot that I'm dealing with right now, but I've got to keep the focus, especially in the morning, so we can nail it and keep on trucking. So that's gonna wrap it up. I hope you guys have a great night, and we'll catch you first thing in the morning.